bigger and better things in your life and in your business. And as you'll know, we do that by inviting world leading authorities who share their knowledge, experience, and expertise. However, we're testing something different now, which is to have a show once a month where Haseeb and I share some of our expertise with you. At the same time, we'll answer more questions, and it will be more conversational, and it will give us an opportunity to get to know you better, and it will also give you an opportunity to get to know us better. So this is the first show that we're trialing, and please do give us your feedback, because with your feedback we can learn, grow, and improve. And today we are going to be talking about different ways to grow your business. And I was lucky enough to be invited a few years ago, back in 2013, to share some of my knowledge in a book which shows 57 ways to grow a business. And I thought I would share some of those with you. And Haseeb in the studio will share his input. And at the same time, he'll ask a few questions just to gain a bit of clarity. The first thing I'd like to share with you. Good evening, Haseeb. How are you, sir?
Evening, Shaz. Not bad at all. About yourself? You're well?
Very good, thank you. Very good indeed. Have you had a good week?
It has been a good week, yes. It's been a good week because I've started going back to the gym.
Have you?
Yeah. Let's see how long I keep it up.
And what do you do at the gym?
What do I do at the gym? I try to exercise. It's not easy when you have to start all over again and you're in the treadmill and within 5 minutes you're tired. You're out of breath. You know something's wrong.
And why do you think you're out of breath within the first 5 minutes?
I'm not fit enough.
You're not fit enough. Okay.
That's a polite reason.
In that case, you need to go more often.
Yes, that's the aim.
And as we're sharing this, some of these ideas with you, please do get in touch. You can email us on studio@salamradio.co.uk. You can text and WhatsApp us on 077 45 278 978. And Fiaz is usually the one who beats everybody else to asking the first question.
He's pretty good at it,
and
yes.
I'm sure he'll probably be with us very shortly with his first question. But thank you to everybody who participates and asks questions. And you can also call the studio on 01733 602 133. And of course, you can send us a message through Facebook. The first thing I'd like to share with you is the benefit of doing a SWOT analysis. This is a very useful tool, especially when you're planning for your business and looking at different ways to improve your business. And SWOT stands for, or the S in SWOT stands for strengths, the W stands for weaknesses, the O stands for opportunities, and the T stands for threats. And before I go any further, Haseeb, have you ever done a SWOT analysis in your business?
I have indeed, Shaz. It's a very good tool to use in your business. You see where you are, and when you put down the SWOTs on there, it makes you realise, makes you think where your business is.
All right, let's be quite honest here. Did you do a SWOT analysis when you were studying at university and then you'd never done one again, or did you really sit down and do one for your business?
I went through it. but I didn't go into details.
Okay.
So, as you said, I did it at uni, and afterwards I went back to it again and just put a couple of points on there, and I didn't go into detail. No, I didn't.
Okay. No, see, that shows you how well I know you now, doesn't it?
You know me too well, Shaz.
Another 6
and that's scary.
Another 6 months on this radio show, and I think I might know too much.
Yes.
So I'm going to try my best to keep my distance from you. So the S stands for strengths, and what you want to be thinking here is, what are you or your business really good at? What do you do better than anybody else? Or what do you do really well? At the same time, you want to be thinking about your unique skills. Do you have any skills which help you deliver a fantastic service or a fantastic product, or do you have other team members who are really good at a particular skill? And finally, you need to be thinking about how and where do you outperform your competitors? Is it because of your product, because of your service, because of something else in your business, some kind of a unique competitive advantage, which is also known as a unique selling proposition, which helps you stand out from the crowd. So that is where you want to be focusing on in terms of your strengths. Your weaknesses, as you can probably imagine, are the exact opposite. And here you want to be thinking about what are you really poor at. And when you ask people this question, they usually say, well, I don't really have any weaknesses. That's because they don't think about areas where they can improve, or sometimes some of us perhaps think we're really good and we have no weaknesses. And of course we all have weaknesses, and we can all improve with time, effort, energy and enthusiasm. So think about which areas can you improve in. What resources are you short of? Is it time? Is it money? Is it knowledge, expertise, or something else which you need in your business which will help you improve? And then think about where are you in terms of in comparison with your competitors. So do you have any particular disadvantages, or do they have any advantages which have become disadvantages for you? The O stands for opportunities, and here you want to be thinking about how could you improve your sales possibly, how could you improve your efficiency, how could you perhaps think about introducing new products, services, niche markets which could be added to your existing business, which will really help you improve. And this is quite a big one, because lots of people generally tend to be generalists, and I'm sure I've shared this before, where you ask somebody, who are your customers? And they say, oh, everybody's my customer. Everybody should be buying from me. And yet when you drill down, there are only a handful of types of customers who actually buy from them. And if you can develop into a particular niche market, that is really a good idea. So perhaps you can specialize in working with doctors, dentists, accountants. Perhaps you specialize in working with children, or you specialize in working with a particular demographic. And if you can do that, you'll become an expert quicker than you would do if you were a generalist. So that's something to bear in mind. And when you have a niche, the good thing is not only do you stand out, but you can charge more for your services because you are a specialist. So if you, Haseeb, I know you like cricket, to share with us a company which makes good bats.
Good bats is Kookaburra. There's GM, there's other bats. Why Kookaburra is good? Because the wood is made of English willow. English willow is good, better than the Kashmir willow. And you time the ball well, you can hit the ball well.
Yeah, so you see, they specialise in making cricket bats. They don't specialise in making cricket bats and rugby balls and footballs and golf clubs, do they? So like that, if you can specialise in one particular sector and develop your niche, that will be a huge competitive advantage for you. And the T finally is for threats. So are there any regulations which are changing generally within the country or in your specific sector which could be a potential threat to you, like climate change or a change in the political environment, or any technological changes which may affect you? So you want to be thinking about those things, or any environmental changes which could possibly affect your business. Think about which of your products or services are losing demand, and why are they losing demand? Are they losing demand because behaviors and attitudes are changing? Are they losing demand because you're not giving as much value as you used to? Or are they losing demand because there are other people in the marketplace who have a better offering than you do? Third, think about what resources are difficult to find, and then think about how you can make that easier for yourself. And finally, look at what your competitors are doing. So don't spend too much time just focusing on your competitors. Spend 90% or 95% of your focus on your own business, but have a 5 to 10% awareness of what others are doing, because that way you'll be able to see if they introduce something new which works well, you can quickly latch onto that and do something similar and possibly improve it so that you have a competitive advantage. So having gone through this SWOT, Haseeb, is there anything that comes to mind that you'd like to share?
Also, I would like to share is it'd be good to run it past someone else. Once you've done your SWOT analysis, also get an opinion of someone who's not going to link to the business. Run it past them, see what their opinion is. Maybe they give you some more ideas or more factors that you haven't included, that you haven't thought of, and is good to run it past someone else as well, get their opinion.
Yeah, that's good. And with your SWOT analysis, you can make that part of a business plan. And I don't know about you, Haseeb, I know both you and I are in the same sector, but I'm just amazed. In fact, I've gone beyond being amazed now about how many people who don't actually have a business plan at all. They'll have a mental plan of where they would like to be, which is possibly a dream or an aspiration, but they don't actually physicalize that by putting it on a piece of paper. And until you put it on a piece of paper, it doesn't really exist. Have you had similar experiences?
Similar experiences. When it comes to time to putting on a piece of paper, people do find it difficult.
And what are your thoughts on business plans?
Business plan is important because it's an action plan of what you want to do. What your plans are going in the future. How you're going to progress in your business. So having something there in writing in front of you is easy for you to. You should follow that business plan, and there's a reason why you wrote that business plan. And also that business plan will give you an idea if your business is a success, or what the reasons why it might not be a success.
And do you have a business plan? I'm not talking about the one that you wrote at university as part of.
I did have a small business plan, but that was many years ago when I did a business plan.
Was that
for my business.
On the back of a cigarette packet? Was it that small?
No, a bit bigger than that.
Okay, all right, good.
It was an A4 piece of paper.
A4 piece of paper, folded in half. So
folded in half, yeah.
It's A5.
A5.
Yeah? And you used one side of it, yeah.
Just about, yeah.
Oh, well, you got to start somewhere, haven't you?
You got to start,
and why not start
small? A couple of bullet points.
Start small, yeah. Couple are more than one, so yeah. So some of the things that you want to be thinking about when you're writing your business plan. The first thing is your vision. Where would you like to see your business at some point in the future, say 3 years, 5 years, 10 years? And sometimes people struggle to visualize their business in 5 or 10 years' time. But have a stab at it and just think about, where would I like to be? What's the end goal? And I find, Haseeb, that the longer the plan, the better it is, because you can chunk down so you can think next 25 years, then 20, 15, 10, so on and so forth. Works incredibly well. So that's your vision, and then think about your vision. So your mission. So your mission is, why are you in business? Why do you exist? What makes you get up in the morning and do what you do? Alongside that, then think about your core values. What do you stand for? What does your business stand for? And these core values should really drive your behavior. They should drive why you exist. They should drive every decision that you make in business. And this is exceptionally important, because once you're clear on your values, then every time you're stuck or you're looking to do something, if you look back at your values and say, this is what we stand for, this is what we believe, this is what we're about, you can then say, okay, now let's make this particular decision in line with our values so that it represents who we are. And that really makes life easy, or easier, simpler. It also helps you to employ people who share your values. So if you have one person if your value is to make a difference, and you employ somebody whose value is just to create more wealth, that could be a potential disconnect. So you want to find people who share the same value as you, which is make a difference or make a bigger difference. And of course, you don't have one value. Usually, in my experience, people have 3 to 7 values. So I'd say go in the middle, go for 5 values. But even if you go for 3, they work incredibly well. So I'm not too sure if you've ever worked on this, Haseeb, I have over the years, and I'll happily share my 3 values with you. But do you want to have a stab at what my 3 values may be?
Your 3 values for your business.
Yeah, but
First,
for me.
For me, for yourself, first of all, I think is making money.
Yeah, okay.
On there, I think also, I think you're that sort of person who wants to leave something behind for, like a role model, so have something there that people can follow.
I do want to leave something behind. That's a big bank overdraft for my son. Here you go, boys.
Yeah, you can
pay
do
that
that
over the next 25 years. Yeah.
They won't love you for that. But something value for yourself is a business that's successful. Is I think also what you must have looked at is a business that's easy to follow, and you must have a vision where you want to be, where you want your business in the next 20 years, 15 years.
Yeah, I spent some time with a guy called John D. Martini. That's D-E and then Martin with an N-I at the end. John D. Martini. Fantastic guy. Very inspirational. And he's got a 3-day course where he drills down and helps you to get clarity on your values. And my 3 values at the end of that 3-day course were: number 1, entrepreneurship; number 2, lifelong learning; and number 3, creating wealth. So you were kind of there or thereabouts.
It's making money, isn't it?
But that was my 3rd value. But they're all kind of interlinked and intertwined. So the first one was entrepreneurship, and when I look back, okay, see, pretty much everything that I've done in business is about entrepreneurship. When I look at lifelong learning, I spend more time and money on courses than I do on anything else, pretty much. So that was that gave me clarity, and those 2 put together then help you to create wealth, and that really summarized everything for me. And I knew that I was in congruence with those values, because when I looked back at my life and everything that I'd done, it all kind of made sense. So if you're thinking about setting values and you're struggling, I would recommend that you buy John's book, which is called The Value Factor, or The Values Factor. It's a good read, and it will help you gain clarity. So values are important. Above and beyond that, you then want to be setting goals. So these are small little goals which are going to help you work towards your bigger mission. So you can chunk these down into regular targets. So in 6 months' time, I'd like to increase my turnover by 10%, 15%, 20%, whatever the number may be. In the following 6 months, again, another 5, 10, 15%. Again, whatever the number may be. So the small little goals. Alongside that, in your business plan, have key performance indicators. So what are the indicators which are going to show you and tell you that you are on the right path? These can be, I break them down into 3 different types. The first ones are your sales drivers. So what things are you doing to improve your sales? So this could be the number of prospects you've met, your conversion rate, how many clients or customers you've signed up, how much you've sold. So those would be your sales drivers. The second set would be your cost drivers. So all the main costs in your business. If you're creating something, how much does it cost you to create that? Marketing, team overheads, salaries, direct wages, rent rates, those type of things. Debt, bad debt. So you could track that. And the third and final piece of all the jigsaw are your underlying success drivers. So these are things like customer feedback, your average feedback score from your customers, average feedback score from your team members, because it's important to get feedback from your team members.
I think a lot of people miss that out, don't they?
They do, but it's very, very important in my view, and it makes a big difference. How many hours you've done on your own lifelong learning and improvement, how many hours your team have invested in learning. So this is going on courses usually known as CPD, continuing professional development. How many books they've read, how many videos that they've seen on YouTube or TED Talks, which will help them with their mindset and implementation. So those are the kind of things that you want to track in your KPIs. Once you've got that, then you want to be thinking about the nuts and bolts of your business plan. So think about how you are going to finance the growth of your business. Do you lack capital? Or if you don't lack capital, are you utilizing the profits of your business? Also think about your suppliers. Do you have good suppliers? Do you have good relationships with them? Do you lack good quality suppliers? Do you lack credit terms with your suppliers? If you do, include that in your business plan and make that as a goal to improve on. Do you have issues with debt or cash flow? So you'd have a cash flow statement in your business over the next, I'd say do a cash flow statement for the next 3 years. Some people do it for the next 5 or 10 years, or you could do the next 12 months. If you haven't done one before, just start with 12 months and take it from there. And that's quite important. Also, you want to be thinking about your team. So do you need to grow your team? If you do, which part do you want to grow? Customer services, operations, admin, the fee earners, the sales team, and then have a clear plan on how you're going to recruit. And if you need a team member, then don't recruit them when you need them. Think about taking them on at least 6 months before. Because by the time you find them, then you interview them, you go through them, that'll take you 3 or 4 months. So really, ideally, hire them 6 months before you need them. Alongside that, if you have a very busy life, invest in having a PA, a personal assistant, or a VA, a virtual assistant. You can get a virtual assistant from places like Singapore, Philippines. They are exceptionally good, very cost effective, between £400 to £600 a month, and they'll work for you the entire week. If you have a PA, they can be based in your office or they can be based somewhere else in the country, and they are exceptionally good too. They'll really help you keep organized. The good thing is, and the thing to remember, is if you have a PA or a VA, their job is to keep you organized. So don't spend your time trying to organize them. Make sure they're experienced and they can help you keep organized, manage your diary, manage your appointments, and do the things which perhaps you're not that good at. Because as entrepreneurs, we're good at coming up with new ideas. We're good at implementing things. We're not so good at the admin side, and we kind of leave certain things behind because we tend to chase the next shiny object. Above and beyond that, then start thinking about, are there any new markets that we want to venture into? So if you're selling cricket bats, you might be thinking about, okay, what else can we do which complements selling cricket bats? So it could be other sports equipment, it could be cricket gear, it could be you could even have a cricket training center, so some cricket coaching, so something else which complements your business, which your customers buy from you anyway, and while they're there, they'll buy something else. And Amazon is really good at this. If you buy something from Amazon, they'll say, people who bought this product also bought XYZ. So sometimes you're thinking, well, if most people are buying XYZ, maybe I need that too, and I haven't thought about it. So that's always a very smart way of operating. Have you had any experiences like that, Haseeb?
Yes, I've had it. Shaz, just like to ask, because before I forget, I don't want to forget. You said, entrepreneurs, you said you go to many courses, and some listeners might be thinking, well, you go to courses, what do you gain from there? How many courses do you need to go to? Sometimes you got to be okay with no pay, because opportunities do carry risks. And just want you to clarify on, there are many courses that you go to. I'm sure you learn everything from every course on there, but what's the importance of going to courses?
That's a very good question, and I've spent a large fortune, in fact, in going on courses both in the UK and I go to America. Well, I used to go about 3 times a year. Now I go either once or twice. And the good thing about courses is, if you're not in it, you start losing your rhythm and you start losing your pace. So it's like Stephen Covey said in his book, The 7 Habits of Highly Successful People. Keep sharpening the saw. And by sharpening the saw in this case, he means keep improving your knowledge and your expertise. And you do that by being in courses and learning new ideas. You're absolutely right. Some of the courses you go on to, and they're not that good. but I usually just, if I'm there for a day or two, I think if I can get one idea which I can implement, that's been worthwhile in investing my time in this course. And usually I always find at least one idea, and it's good I find one as opposed to 20, because if I find 20 I won't implement them. We're heading towards a break, and please stay with us and join us after the break, where we'll try to answer some of your questions and we'll share some more ideas on how you can grow your business. We shall see you in a few moments. Assalamu alaikum.
Stay tuned to Salaam Radio after this short ad break.
I've just come out of Penny Appeal's Orphan Kind Orphans Accommodation. Brothers and sisters, they've got a kitchen where they're getting fresh food cooked and served to them. They've got foster mothers looking after them. These are how orphans should be looked after. Sponsor an orphan for pennies a day. Call 03000 11 11 11 or visit the website pennyappeal.org. Remember, small change, big difference.
Iqra Academy is the only Muslim girls' school in Cambridgeshire where your daughter will develop her knowledge of Islam and the national curriculum in a safe environment. Ofsted has judged the teaching and learning, leadership and management, pupil behaviour and personal development as good in June 2017. Iqra Academy's qualified staff teach in small classes, and the school is producing sports teams who have a track record of succeeding at national level. With reduced fees and a good rating 3 times from Ofsted, why not consider Iqra Academy for your daughter? Enroll now to avoid disappointment. Please contact 01733 331 433 or email admin@iqraacademy.org.uk.
Do you have lots of clutter at home or in the office that needs to be kept but nowhere to keep it? Ivet Self-Storage offers a secure, affordable, clean and dry home for your belongings. We have security systems in place which are monitored 24 hours a day, ensuring that your items are safe. With a simple monthly payment, Ivet Self-Storage provides secure and tailored facilities to meet your specific requirements, whether short or long term. We offer the best prices and longest opening hours in Peterborough. For more information, please call on 01733 306 456 or visit us at Ivet Way, Westwood.
Don't miss the brilliant Pride of Pakistan at the Bull Hotel in Peterborough on the 25th November at 6:30 p.m. Sponsored by Salaam Radio, with Pakistan's favourite TV presenter and journalist Ikrar ul Hassan and news anchor and journalist Wasim Badami in support of our Rohingya emergency appeal. Tickets are from £5. Book now on 0161 225 0225 or visit humanappeal.org.uk.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم إذا السماء انفطرت وإذا الكواكب انتثرت وإذا البحار فجرت وإذا القبور بعثرت علمت نفس ما قدمت وأخرت يا أيها الإنسان ما غرك بربك الكريم الذي خلقك فسواك فعدلك في أي صورة ما شاء ركبك كلا بل تكذبون بالدين وإن عليكم لحافظين كراما كاتبين يعلمون ما تفعلون إن الأبرار لفي نعيم وإن الفجار لفي جحيم يصلونها يوم الدين.
This is Salaam Radio, Peterborough's Muslim community radio. Broadcasting on 106.2 FM and online.
Assalamu alaikum, welcome back. You're listening to Empower Hour on Salaam Radio on 106.2 FM and Inspire FM on 105.1 FM. You are listening to Mohammed Haseeb Mohammed Haseeb, and my co-presenter Shaz Nawaz. The purpose of and objective of Empower Hour is to inspire, encourage and empower you to become bigger and better in all walks of life. Also, I like to encourage listeners to call in and call in to ourselves. The number is 01733 602 133, or text or WhatsApp us on 07745 278 978. Also, you can email us on studio@salaamradio.co.uk. As Shaz was mentioning earlier on, he was mentioning about how businesses are. Well, there's regarding SWOT analysis, business plan, and the usefulness of that as well, how useful it is for businesses. Also, there's some KPIs that most businesses use. And generally, the KPIs business can use is regarding, Shaz did touch upon earlier on, I'm just going to go a bit more detail, it's regarding sales revenue. The sales revenue, also number 2 is sales of number of sales transactions. Also the average sales of transaction value, cost of goods sold, the gross margin percentage, and number of new customers as a business that you get on there, and average sales per team member, the average salary cost per team member, and the average salary cost as percentage of sales, and sales income per day. It's important that you have this, you record this, and you can measure it, because for that once you can measure it, have the numbers on there on month-to-month basis, you can see if you're progressing or not. And if you're not progressing on a month-to-month basis, at least you pick out the problems. You want to say something more on that, Shaz?
Yeah, absolutely. So tracking your number of sales transactions is important. So you can see how many customers have come in, how much they've each spent. That then enables you to track the average sales transaction value per customer. Because there's two things that you'll find. One, you'll get to see what your average customer is worth. Then you'll be able to break that down into different types of customers. So you could break them down into, let's say, gold, silver and bronze. So your gold customers are the ones who spend the most amount of money with you. Let's just say they spend £10,000 with you a year, even though they may be spending money with you on a weekly or a monthly basis. Your silver customers spend £5,000 with you a year, and your gold, bronze customers spend £2,000 with you a year. That's going to help you focus on giving a much better service to your gold customers. Then you can break down the traits of those customers, see who they are, where they come from, what are their education levels, what are their interests, and then try and find more of them. Because what you'll usually find, more often than not, is a gold customer is highly likely to recommend another gold customer to you. So why would you want to be going after a silver customer who spends £2,000 when you can get a gold customer who spends £10,000 with you? And it's important to be able to make that distinction. And hotels do that really well. Trains do that really well. And airlines do that exceptionally well, because they have first class, business class, economy class. And as you can imagine, Haseeb, first class customers get a very different service in comparison to economy class, because you get what you pay for. But the airlines know that this person has spent quite a few £1,000s with us, so they'll go the extra mile, excuse the pun, to look after them.
Having a bronze customer, business might think, oh, they're easily ready available, more approachable. I can get a bronze customer on a week get a bronze customer every other week, whereas a gold customer, it might take 2 months, 3 months, 4 months.
You're absolutely right. So gold customers may take longer to convert. This is why what you do is you get your existing gold customers to refer you, because once somebody's been referred, they're more likely to sign up with you. And the person who's referring them, as long as they are happy with your service, they'll do all the selling for you. They'll say, oh, this person's fantastic, this company is really good, they do everything on time, they don't give me a headache, I've not had any complaints, they're the best thing since sliced bread. So the person...
Do you give them a script?
I gave them a very good detailed script. Here you go. You don't have to use this, but you can if you like. No, I don't. I just allow people to say what they feel they want to say. But you can give them a script if you wanted to. Not a word-for-word script which they have to read out verbatim. But you can give them an indication because sometimes people don't know what to say. So you can guide them in the right direction. There's nothing wrong with that. And when the person being referred comes to you, they're quite likely to sign up because they've already been told by a raving fan or advocate of your business about how good you are.
I've got a question from one of the listeners. He's saying, surely you must concentrate on the silver and bronze customer more so than they can become a gold customer as well. Thank you for that, Brother Fiaz.
You could do. So I'm not saying that we should ignore the bronze customer, and it's always good to drive them upstream so that the bronze becomes silver and then they can become gold. But that doesn't always happen, and the old 80-20 rule comes in. And how that works is the bronze customers end up taking 80% of your time, and they only generate 20% of your profits, which becomes a mismatch. What you want to do is find 20% of your customers who generate 80% of your profit and then get more of them. But of course, there are some bronze customers who you may feel have the capacity, the mindset, the attitude, the aptitude, the ability, the willingness, the enthusiasm to grow and buy more from you. Then you want to work with them, nurture them, and help them grow so that they can go upstream and become silver and gold customers. So we don't want to ignore anybody who buys from us. They're all important, but it's good to distinguish different categories so that you spend more time with the ones who are spending more money with you, because that's why they're spending more money with you, so you can make them feel important. All customers should be treated equally at one level, but the important thing is to treat them individually. That's very important. So, and how you treat them individually is to find out about their likes, dislikes, how they like to be looked after. But if they're spending more money with you, what that tells you two things. The first thing it tells you is, if they're spending £10,000, you can now be thinking, okay, how much of a margin are we making? Let's say 60%. So you're making a £6,000 gross profit margin on them. So you want to be thinking, okay, in order to make that £10,000 turnover from this customer with a £6,000 gross margin, how much money am I willing to spend to get one of these customers? So you may say, I'm willing to spend 10% of my gross profit margin. In my example, that would be £600, which is 10% of 6,000. So now you're saying, I can spend £600. So think about how can you utilize that £600 in the best way possible in the marketing that you do to go and buy that customer. And I use the word buy on purpose because through marketing, you're looking to buy them. That's why you're spending money on marketing. The second thing is then you look at the average lifetime. So say gold customers on average spend £10,000 with us, and they stay with us 5 years. So all of a sudden now that customer is worth £50,000 to you. Now rest assured, when you start thinking like that, you're not going to see a customer who spends £200 a week with you. 200 over a year would be 10,400. You'll be thinking, this customer's worth £50,000 to me. When you start seeing them that way, you're going to start improving your process in terms of keeping them happy and giving them an exceptional service. And then you start thinking, okay, now that I know they're worth £50,000 to me, I know what my margin is, which is 60%, which is £30,000. I'm making £30,000 from this person. So how much money am I willing to spend to get this customer? So in the first example, it was 10% of the first year's gross profit margin, which was £600. Now, if the percentage stays the same, so it's 10% of £30,000, you're willing to spend £3,000 on getting that customer. Imagine how much marketing you can do to talk to that customer, to reach that customer through social media, radio, TV, seminars, events, presentations, corporate hosting, direct mail marketing, email marketing to get that customer. That totally transforms the way that you think about your business, transforms the way that you think about getting new customers, and you're going to build a better business in return.
I think when you just mentioned a seminar is a good way of marketing, because seminars, people come to that seminar because they're interested in that subject, and it's a lot easier to interact with them than, for example, radio, because radio is to it goes out to quite a few people. But the seminar is people who are interested, who are coming for whatever that seminar is about, and for that reason they're coming to that seminar.
Yeah, absolutely, because it's the old adage: people buy from people who are like them, and they buy from people who they like. So we just generally tend to get on with people who are similar to us. And in a seminar, you can see the presenter, you get to know them a bit better, and you're able to form a connection. And because you form a connection, you'll very quickly make that choice between whether do I like them or not. And if you like them, you'll pay attention to them. You'll start following them on social media. If they have books, you'll buy their books. If they're offering you some kind of a product, you'll be willing to research a bit more into that product. You'll go onto their website. If they have any free reports, you'll get them. So you're more likely to buy from them if you've seen them and met them. And the really good thing about showcasing and doing presentation and talks is if you've got 50 people in the room and you're talking to them, you're leveraging your time. Imagine seeing 50 people individually for an hour each. That's 50 hours out of your working week, month or year. If you see 50 people in one go for a 60-minute presentation, just think about the leverage you can, and the magnitude and the ability you have of seeing so many potential customers over a year. It really is a fantastic way to transform your business. And no matter which business you're in, you can do presentations, and some are of a different kind. So a shopkeeper at that moment thinking, well, how can I do a presentation? Well, you might not want to book a hotel and call 50 people in there and talk about your products, but you could have an event in your shop, have a charity function or just an event saying, these are some of my new products, why don't you come and try them out, and we'll do some fundraising at the same time. That in itself is a show, is an event, is a presentation. So you just got to think differently about how can I attract people into my business where I can start talking to them and communicating with them.
Very good points there, Shaz. No, thank you for that, Shaz. Also, regarding, as you said, entrepreneur skills and so forth on there, some of the traits I think that to become an entrepreneur you need to have is, you need to be goal-orientated, but also the personable effect. You got to have that personal effect to that. You got to, people got to relate to yourself, and it's not where people think you're not just selling, because a lot of people sometimes think this, there's this event, it's just there for he wants to sell me some stuff. There's nothing and no advantage for myself. And how do you get past that skill there?
Do you mean how do you get past that skill, or how do you create that skill?
How do you create that skill and then better yourself, make it in that skill?
Well, there's two things there, Haseeb. The first one is you want to think about what are the key skills that I want to develop which will help me become an entrepreneur. And those skills are different. Some people are good at selling or want to become good at selling. That's a good skill entrepreneurs should have. Entrepreneurs should also have the skill to be able to analyze numbers, information, so they can quickly come to a particular decision. Yeah? They should be good leaders. They should be good communicators. But what I think makes a good entrepreneur is very different to somebody else who runs a bigger business than me. And if you ask 50 people what makes a good entrepreneur, there may be 3 or 4 skills that overlap, but we'll all have our own definition. So think about those 3 to 5 key skills that you want to develop. And if you can develop those, that will help you become a good entrepreneur. In terms on, we can talk more about that if we have time, or we can do this in our slot next month if you like. The other thing about being personable, I think it's important to be congruent and authentic to yourself. Some people are personable, some aren't. If you're one of those people who are introverted, don't really like talking to people, it's a bit of an effort, that's fine. Don't force yourself to become that person who's liked by everybody. I think it's more important to be respected by people. And to be respected by people, you've got to be true to yourself. And by being true to yourself, you have to have clarity on your values and live those values. And when you do that, people will respect you. Because a lot of people, I find, sometimes get into this, fake life where they pretend to be somebody who they aren't. So they build up this defense mechanism around them. Inside they are somebody else. Inside they're thinking something else. Outside they're trying to give a very different view because they want to be liked. And the challenge there is, and I know you asked this question to Brian last week, is wanting something and having something are two very different things. So, and therefore, if you want something, that means you don't have it. So in your mindset, what you gotta imagine is, think, I already have this. If you feel like you have it, therefore you're not going to be desperate to want it. If you're not desperate to want it, you're going to behave in a very different way. Because if you want something, then you're more likely to do things which you otherwise wouldn't do in order to achieve that. And if you want something from somebody else, then you pedestalize them and start looking up to them. And looking up to them isn't a problem, because they might inspire you. But because you put them on this high mantle, you then lower yourself in your own mind. And that's not a good thing. And then the opposite can happen. Your ego may grow where you think you're really good. So you, rather than minimizing yourself and putting somebody on a mantle, you end up minimizing somebody else and you put yourself on a mantle. And that isn't good either. So you got to stay balanced. And balance is very important, but very difficult to achieve. So I'd say if you're good at people's skills, fantastic. If you're not, obviously do try to improve them. But don't just think, this is the one thing I have to do, be liked by everybody. Because if you're liked by everybody, I think you don't really stand for something. And whereas if you're liked by some people and you're disliked by other people, then that means you have a very balanced approach and you're probably getting most of the stuff right and you're doing the right things.
So if anyone likes you, you're doing something wrong.
That's my personal opinion, because either you're trying really, really hard to make them like you, and no matter how hard you try, Haseeb, not everybody's going to like you. They might tell you that to your face. In reality, not everybody likes you. So you definitely are doing something wrong. Whereas if some people say some good things about you, some people say some not so good things about you, that means you're balanced. And you hear this about newspapers, you hear this about TV programs, you hear this about news broadcasters. Some say, oh, these are pro one type of person, club or group. Others say they are anti that particular group or club. And if you have those two groups, some saying they are pro, some saying they are anti, that shows you they're pretty balanced. And that's what you want to try and achieve in your life, that balance.
Also, another trait is successful entrepreneurs have is being prepared to take the exit. When to take the exit. And is that a good trait to have?
Yeah, I think we were talking earlier about having a business plan. So the last piece in the jigsaw in a business plan should be your exit strategy. And you should have 2 or 3 options there. So exit could be you've got a fantastic deal, somebody wants to buy your business. If they do, sell it and start something else. Because once you've got the skill of being an entrepreneur, you can use that in a different business. The other is seeing that your business isn't quite working, but you found a better opportunity. Therefore, having courage to drop this, move on and do that. And the third is understanding that your business is failing. So rather than having wishful thinking, saying next year it'll improve, the year after it'll improve, or in the following third year it'll improve, which it usually doesn't. And you've wasted those 3 years, you've wasted time, effort, energy, enthusiasm, and you've pretty much killed off your business. So be brave. If things aren't working and you can't find a way out, drop it, start again. And if you read books of multimillionaires and the billionaires of this world, you'll see they've failed a number of times. So Tom Watson, the founder of IBM, said, if you want to succeed, double your failure rate. So there's nothing wrong with that. failure really is they are lessons in life which make you bigger, better, and stronger.
Also, planning. I think sometimes businesses go into too details in planning. They overplan things. I think they need to have some, have clarity, keep it simple to follow that plan. Because many business owners I talk to, they overplan things, and sometimes they confuse themselves what their vision is.
Yeah, absolutely. So it's good to plan, but I'm sure I've said this before on this show. The only thing guaranteed to work in a plan is that things won't go to plan. So have a very simple plan. It's the old acronym of KISS. Keep it simple, stupid. And the simpler you keep it, the better it is. But have a plan, and you could just have a basic business plan, which is your plan. So that gives you some direction of where you're going, because then you'll have control. If you have control, you'll have autonomy. If you have autonomy, you'll be able to make better choices.
That's brilliant advice there, Shaz. Also, if someone wants to read a book that is not too long, it's simple, it's something to follow on there about entrepreneurs, what book would you recommend?
Well, I've written 3 books now, so I'm very likely in my mind right now to mention them. But I know if I do that, you will break my knuckles. So I have to refrain from doing that.
Good job, that Shaz.
So I read quite a few books, and I've shared that before on this program. But I'll share a few more. I don't know if I have shared these. If I have, then please do forgive me. Napoleon Hill's Think and Grow Rich is an all-time bestseller, a good book to read. I've already mentioned here tonight Stephen Covey's 7 Habits of Highly Successful People. That's a very good book to read. Ken Blanchard has written a series of books called the 1 Minute XYZ. One is called the 1 Minute Manager, and then there's a few others. Who Moved My Cheese? So these are good short books. Who Moved My Cheese is good. The E-Myth by Michael Gerber is good. That's not that short. It's about probably 180 to 200 pages, but a good read. Jim Collins has written a book called Good to Great. I would highly recommend that. And there are numerous others depending on which topic or subject somebody's interested in. So if you have any listeners who have an interest in a particular subject, then I will be more than happy to recommend books. Books by a guy called Robert Cialdini, who's a professor, are very good. I think it's Science, Influence and Mind, or Science, Influence and Practice. He talks about the mindset and how people behave. That gives you a good insight to how people do what they do. I'd recommend that book. The Power of Now by a guy called Eckhart Tolle is a good book to read. The Book of Est by Eckhart Warner is another good book to read on mindset. T. Harv Eker, The Mind of a Millionaire, is a really good book, and it opens your mind about the social programming that we've had about money and how we think and see money. Another good book by Joe Vitale is There's a Customer Born Every Minute. That's a really good book, and I would strongly and highly recommend that. So that should keep our listeners busy.
Yeah.
And I think it's called The Man from Babylon, and I can't remember the name of the author. That's a really good book as well.
The Man from... You mentioned a couple of times Napoleon Hill. Can you give me a bit more details of what that book, the content of that book is?
So Napoleon Hill talks about... the story goes like this. There's a guy called Andrew Carnegie, who's a Scottishman, and who's a Scot, and he moved to America, and he is the first recorded billionaire of his time back in the early 1900s. And he wanted to, he was in the steel industry, I believe, and he wanted to establish what makes uber successful people so successful. So he commissioned Napoleon Hill to go around and interview people, and that's what he did. He went around and interviewed all the great people from America. So these could be people like Henry Ford and many others, and he then established certain traits, and he wrote the book called Think and Grow Rich. and I believe there's 17 traits in there that he's written, and those traits are what these entrepreneurs have and have used in their businesses to become exceptionally successful. And if you read the book, understand those traits, implement those traits, they work. So if there's people like Warren Buffett, many others who will share openly that book has had a massive influence on people. Another good book is by
You got 7 seconds, Shaz.
Dale Carnegie, How to Influence People and Make Friends.
Thank you for that, Shaz. Join us again for next week. Listen to Power.